Hello! How are you doing?
Doing good.
Oh, good.
I just killed the Yeti.
You just killed it. You did just kill a Yeti! Congratulations, Gilwin. Congratulations are in order. So, you did just have this fight against a Yeti that was probably gonna eat
I don't think you killed a Yeti, just to be clear.
I killed a Yeti.
In fact, the Yeti isn't dead right now.
We killed a Yeti as a team. If you happen to get the last hit, that doesn't count. We killed a Yeti.
We're not one of those weird D&D games where you only get experience on the last hit. Like it's a fucking
some
MOBA.
DMs do that, and that honestly, I could literally never play in a campaign where last hit takes the XP. I'd be like, nope, I'm out. Yeah, it's not even worth it.
Sounds like it would be hard to beat, especially the kind of games we like. Anyway, this Yeti goes slumping into the snow, and then you know you're in the snow. You're in the snow with the clouds of snow around you. Maybe take a few moments to catch the breath. It kind of smells a little weird right now. You're not sure if it's the Yeti or not.
Sid, is that me? I think so.
Sid and Melody. Melody's actually pretty good. It's not like you had many physical injuries. Well, you did tumble down a mountain a little bit, so you would have had
a couple of toes
some terrible things
in the
going on. But Melody is like mostly fine. You know, she's not 100% health wise, but like in actual like roleplay wise, she's rejuvenated enough of her energy, and she's back with Raj. But she's mostly fine. Sid is pale, and Sid's usually actually like kind of tannish. He's kind of like a pale tan in that he's tan. He just doesn't have any color to him. It's like the equivalent. But he's pale. He's shivering. He's got the wolf cloak on. He's probably like teeth chattering.
Okay, so now that I smell like Melody, could we do something about the fact that we're freezing down a mountain? Hey, Vale!
Melody, first thing Melody does after the thing, she goes up, picks up a spear that's probably sitting around somewhere, stabs it through the head of the Yeti just to make sure it's dead. Then just leaves it there for a moment and sort of turns to Vale and is like looking at the ice, trying to figure out a way of getting it off.
Somebody watches Lost Initiative.
Yeah, I walk over to Melody, put my arm on Melody's shoulder, and is like, we could leave him like this for a little while. Just for a little while.
Why leave? Vale in danger.
It was a joke, and I cast Prestidigitation on Vale's crotch.
Yeah, it's like the ice starts melting just like from the crotch. It's like an old style like effect where it's like, oh, there's Vale in ice and then Vale normal, and it just like sort of wipes between, but it's like crotch outwards. Yeah. And so he's probably like, oh, like all in the wrong order.
So can I like, I don't know, damage integrity the ice? Is that considered like an object? Or that
it would be if it was bigger ice, but this is absolutely fine. It's only it's a strong but temporary magic. Don't need to worry about it. It breaks up. Okay. It breaks after a certain amount of time anyway. Actually, I don't know if it does, but it does in this situation.
I would just be worried about Vale. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So
that's what I think that totally would be a thing you could do at other times.
I think it broke a couple of ribs and maybe an arm. Oh boy.
Where were you? Oh man, you were just so melancholy, and then you disappeared, and then our friend here just kind of went off the deep end for a minute there, and well, yes. I'm glad you're back. Things just seems back to normal when you're here.
Yes.
While Sid is talking, Melody pulls out. You've seen her drinking from a water skin that was presumably a potion before. She pulls out another water skin. Maybe it's a healing potion and just offers it to Vale.
It doesn't smell like water, that's for sure. Smells like mud. Smells like Melody.
He gives her a long drawn out look and then swigs it back.
Is it like one of those slow ones? When you're drinking something gross, you either go really quickly or really slowly.
Well, it's like he wants to do it fast, but he doesn't want to lose eye contact with Melody either. He's like,
Melody just watches without
blinking.
Yeah. And then just when he's finished, she just nods.
That was a healing potion, 2d4 plus.
It was, yes.
2, please, Mr. Vale. 2d4 plus 2.
I'll just go over to him and give him a little hug and be like, "Hi, mate. It's really good to see you."
Oh.
When I see them hug, I'll give them their space.
Vale doesn't hug Gilwyn. You like think he's about to reciprocate the hug, and then he slaps him around the face.
Oh,
and he says,
that's right.
He says, "What were you doing up here in an avalanche? You could have died. You could have got these people killed. Responsibility, Gilwyn." No, he like mumbles to himself as he gets the rest of the ice off, and but I am glad to see you are okay.
Well, I'll tell you later.
Oh, you will, young man.
I tend to Sid, and I'm like, are you okay?
I'm perfectly fine now that, that whole ordeal was done. That guy was just ask a guy a favor, he tries to kill everyone.
What guy?
There was a Goliath, and Gilwyn tried to screw him over, and we all tagged along, and then he was grumpy, but then I asked him to more or less just try to get your attention so you can come and join us, and then he tried to kill us because of it.
You threw a stone at his head.
Goliath. I threw a stone. It hit him in the head. I apparently got a good old arm on
frowning. Vale's just frowning. He just frowns from Gilwyn to Sally, back to Gilwyn, then back to Sally, and then he just for good measure, frowns at Melody as well.
If you
Melody's not even been mentioned, but he just
you know what I imagine? You know, in my Sims playthrough when Stalbor's sad and his face is just literally a downwards V, just like.
Yo.
He just looks so sad
when he does that.
Anyways, it was all for naught. We, like I said, Gil wanted to screw the guy over. We all agreed and went along with it, and it ended us being screwed over since the whole thing was for naught.
Well, actually, I wouldn't mind a new Yeti fur cloak.
Oh, hey, listen, that Yeti, do you have any idea what you could do with the gallbladder of a Yeti? Huh, open it up.
Yes, I'll leave the opening up to you. Who's the handiest with a dagger?
Wait, are you telling me that you don't mind, you don't like getting your hands dirty? Don't you kill people for a profession?
Well, in the old days...
There's no fame and glory and ladies watching? You're not as big of a fan of it?
In the old days, if you could just throw them overboard, it's a bit easier, you know? You don't have to clean your sword afterwards. You still get their gold. But what I mean is, I don't want its gallbladder, Sid. Help yourself to it.
They'll want Yeti cut up?
No, I want its fur.
No.
Fur?
No.
Yes. Melody, do this. And she walks across and pulls
as she pulls
the spear and starts
he's like,
using
just
it.
to be very clear, I do not want you to cut it into little bits. I want the fur as a whole.
Yeah. What's
Melody just looks at him. Melody looks at him, points at the wolf pelt that Sid is wearing, and just Melody knows.
That's a valid point.
What's Melody's strength score?
What?
Fucking high.
Is Melody strong? Or is she just dexterous?
She's reasonable. She's 15 strength. So
that's strong. Okay, never mind. That's good. Because I was gonna say, I don't know if you've ever skinned something in real life, but even if you're dealing with a small mammal, it's fucking difficult because the connective tissues. You know what I mean?
Weirdly enough, the body wants to stay together. I don't know why. Weirdly enough, bodies want to stay together.
Yeah, I know. It's strange. So when you're dealing with something as thick as a Yeti's fur, and then
that's gotta be hard.
We're talking the whole party working together to hold back flaps and big cuts. This is an all-day project here.
No, yeah, this is a long time.
We have to bleed it first. You have to drain it of blood first, so it's gonna be messy, and we're just gonna cut ourselves.
Well, it's when you're doing a skinning roll, it assumes you do everything. But yeah, if you want to do this. Taking a long time. You are in the absolute freezing cold. Okay, you want to start a camp at the same time.
Wait a second. Before we get started on this project, which I am 100% for, 100% for.
Oh, that is good, Sid. Oh, you little rapscallion.
Is there a cave nearby preferably without little angry coconuts that we can take warmth in for maybe an hour before we start? Because
angry coconuts.
Oh my god, Vale, you should have stayed with so cute. 10, 15 little rock demon creature things.
Gilwyn, you have one in your pocket.
Yeah.
A dead one.
As I'm explaining that, I would pull out and be like,
Oh my god. And these things attacked you?
They tried to, little bastards.
Oh,
That really is the good description. They tried.
I'll wiggle it so its arms do that.
That's just disturbing.
It is. But
would
it's
that be
kind
a
of
bad
funny.
thing? It's not like it's a person, you know. So
It's really like the debates about whether elementals are living beings is one that you could have for hours in Tron or
I mean,
Basilia.
according to mechanics, they have no soul, right? Because elementals are physical, outer planes are spiritual. They have no soul, right? So I mean,
well, not really the way I run it, but yeah, they're still different.
I suppose, does Gilwin mention that there's a cave?
Feather at the mountain.
Go ahead and get. There's one nearer here, actually.
I have
Gilwin.
Wanderer feature.
Wanderer.
That I can recall terrain
Well,
around me.
then it would be definitely Melody who remembers this. There was that cave that you didn't go into because it had a dragon drawn in front of it on the map.
Yeah.
That's like actually over there.
Melody just points at the cave.
Of course, it's hard to see that far away with the mist, but like, it's over there.
Do you think we could drag the Yeti corpse?
All of you working together could. All of you working together don't even need to roll. If Melody is doing it on a lonesome, then
Yeah, we'll all work together, I think, probably. I got that length of rope so we can tie it around its waist.
Yeah, and then like Sid's at the back, like trying to push it.
I do technically have an excellent memory for maps as well, even if I can't read them. So I would as she's pointed and they're just like, oh yeah, let's go to that cave sort of thing. Melody will just go, on map, cave had strange. She probably wouldn't know what a dragon was, so she'd probably be like, she'd be like, strange lizard. Creature.
Oh shit! Yeah, there was a like a dragon drawing on the cave veil.
How big was the cave?
Big. Like the one you went through to sort of get to the other side of the mountain wasn't really a cave. It's just sort of like a craggy where like two like parts of the mountain, like probably a part of the mountain slid and like rested and made like this little fire through. But this cave is like a crack in the mountain that just goes into blackness. But like,
I meant like size-wise.
Size-wise, you mean you have no idea how big inside when they looked into it anyway.
Okay.
I mean,
just big, black.
It was a big gaping hole. Now I don't know how deep that big gaping hole goes, but it was a big gaping hole.
Is this the one where we thought there might be a dragon inside of it?
That's the same one, Sid. Correct.
I mean, I understand that the drow that we bumped into were suggesting that the dragon's already dead. I'm sure this is the first time Vale heard that there was drow.
Yeah.
That the drow that we bumped into said that the dragon was probably dead, but I mean, that's still a bit of a concern.
Oh yeah, there was drow too.
Why would it?
Like I said, it was a failed endeavor.
I don't care.
Endeavor.
I don't care. Let us just get to this cave.
Oh, Vale's mad at me. I don't like him. He's mad at me.
So you can easily get over there. You all work together to push the Yeti. I think if you're working together, that's absolutely fine. You do a bit of rig and enduring, and that's fine. You get away from the cold just before I was going to make you do Constitution saves, so it's fine. This cave, like I said, is this big, like, almost triangular crack. It sort of sits perfectly on a little cliff edge. You can start going inside, but how do you want to start going inside? Of course.
Does the Yeti fit through?
Oh, easily. It's a fairly open crack. Like, the doorway is at least 15 foot at the base, you know?
Ian.
That's right. All my equipment disappeared off this character sheet, which was frustrating. I have to reapply that. Did I have... What tools did I have before?
Are you sure you don't need to just change it back to simple, or did it actually get deleted?
No. It got deleted during one of like the mini updates we did later on. I think we realized it last week or something. I was gonna say, do I have dungeoneering tools or is it Tinkerer's tools?
You had Tinkerer's tools.
Yeah.
Does anybody have dungeoneering set?
No, I don't think any of you
No.
do.
Nobody got that with their class? All right.
No.
I sold most of my stuff from my start anyway.
If we have a bit of rope, I can string together a pulley nice and easy, and we can try to lower the damn beastie in there.
You don't need to lower it in. You can walk in. You can drag it in. with ease.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was a drop off. Okay, my
no.
Well,
Okay.
I did buy a bit of rope actually before I came up. It might make it easier when we're skinning him if we do hang him up in there. If there's some sort of loop we could throw a rope through, if we were able to get him suspended somewhat once we get the process started.
More what I was asking is anyone going in first, or are you all just sort of going in with the Yeti?
I'll go in first.
And how deep do you go? Gilwin! It's dark.
I mean, I was going to say Sid would definitely not mind going in first because he knows that him and Vale are the only ones that can really see well in there. So he wouldn't want to go in alone just because he's not like the ultra brave type. But he would certainly go in as one of the first people. So if it's him and Gil, that's fine.
Yeah, I'd go with Sid then.
You go in and very quickly it's just blackness. But there's little sparks of light coming from somewhere, but they don't seem to illuminate much. Sid, what you can see quite easily is after maybe 20 feet or so of just cave, it's still just a natural cave, and it kind of it does look a little bit like it was carved out a little bit, but a long time ago. There's actually like structures in here, wood and stone structures that are very poor quality. But it's sort of like if you imagine on the size of the cave, there's these structures, and it keeps going. I don't know how far if you would still keep walking through, if you would stop.
All right. Something built something in here, and whatever did it wasn't very bright. So probably goblins or orcs.
Really?
Yeah. Hold on. Come here. And I will literally grab him by his like wrist or whatever, and walk him over to near a structure, but not necessarily straight up to it. And I had the stones out, didn't I? That stinks. Do I have?
You had your stones out.
I threw.
That is what rock gnomes call them too.
Nah,
they'd call them their gears or something.
I would light my lantern and aim it towards like the things, and kind of like just like the hooded lantern, and just do like a wide arc with my arm.
Both of you give me perception rolls with the
Sure.
glorious sunlight.
I mean, I imagine I'm not being. Is it something I'm focusing on?
You
or is it something
are focusing on this situation at the very least.
Cool.
It's not like you're looking at one thing; you're just kind of looking at the whole area.
Cool.
Wait, why'd you have disadvantage? Gilwin?
Because of exhaustion.
Oh yes, I'm a stupid dumb boy. Gilwin, like you see exactly what Sid described. Like there's something built something here, and you see it, it stretches down, and like there's like that's kind of cute. It's like almost like a little bit of you know how some structures have like a town pole, and then like things are done around it. There's like there's one of them like over there, and then like the cavern keeps going down there, but like. Sid, you can very clearly tell, just because you've dealt with this kind of thing before, either kobolds, but more likely goblins. Kobolds rarely build like this on their own, unless they're being led...
Kobolds are just...
unless they're being
morons.
led by
Kobolds
someone smart. But the whole thing about kobolds is that it is a gnomish saying, the most dangerous kobold is one that thinks it's smart. And if that one starts leading the others, you get into a whole mess. Of course, it's very easy to deal with, but it's a mess. You're pretty sure it's goblins. You don't see any signs of life other than, like, moths and minor things moving in the shadows, like mice and things like that.
Some bats and stuff.
Yeah, but definitely bats. You see minor wildlife. You don't see a goblin. Don't see any gobos.
Hey, kind of like heading back out the mouth of the cave to see the other ones. But like, so there's some structures built in there. There's a chance that it could be goblins, maybe kobolds. If it's goblins, not a big deal. We can scare them off. If it's kobolds, we'll just have to kill all of them, just to make sure. Because when you exterminate, a pest, you got to make sure you get the whole nest. Otherwise, they just keep reproducing.
Sid, you come off as sort of a timid kind of person, but then I remember you're actually a very brutal, fucked up old man.
What?
You just talked about them as if they were rats. That's amazing. I'm not holding against you. I'm just saying.
Wait, You mean kobolds?
Sometimes
I'm sorry. I
must
would
be
not want
killed.
to bring rats down to the level of kobolds. I can see rats are wonderful pets from time to time. I mean, have you not met a rat that was a wonderful creature to spend some time with? Gesturing to Melody.
Yeah, Melody was a rat once, and that was a particularly nice life.
That's right. That's right. Melody was a rat, and you know
Melody
what? She
moves
was
closer
absolutely
and
cute.
nuzzles against Gale.
Vale's just like
Melody squeaks a
frowning
little bit.
again. It's like
Pat her on the red.
it's like Melody was a rat. Just
Yeah,
frowning.
Vale has a lot to tell you, to be honest.
Honestly, Vale, you really should just not have left us. Things kind of went sideways. Honestly, I was hired by you specifically, so
Oh,
Next
shit.
time Neil's not here, Sid's just like, no, I'm staying with Gil.
like
No,
what happened
fuck
last
it.
time.
You can have Slade this time. I'm staying with Gil.
Four axe back.
I
I don't know. I just like
Just
it works
get
very
this-
well. Just Sid being out of character voice. I don't know why. It just works. Anyway, keep going.
Let's get this Yeti into the cave. You say there's some structures, but nothing there? Why don't we stop there? We can start a fire and get warm.
Sure.
Work on
Fire's a
the
good
Yeti.
idea. Yeah.
You drag the Yeti in. It's of course now that you're outside. I mean, some of the sort of like clouds of snow are in here, but now you really notice like you're just leaving this big red streak where you're dragging this Yeti, and you go in through the area into the cave where there is cold air flowing in. There's an airflow, but it's is safer in here, and you do go up to basically where the structures begin. You leave the Yeti there, and I imagine without even being asked, Melody starts setting up a whole system to probably doing what Vale said, like hang it upside down and start doing everything, start building camp in all those ways.
Oh man, it is drafty in here.
Sid, do you have any vials?
Quite a few.
Could I just ask for a couple of pints of blood from this thing? You never know what will be useful.
You might want a couple of beakers then. I'm kind of like grabbing different stuff instead of
Because
vials.
you know there's a
Oh,
difference.
He like proper nerd snorts to himself. Like,
Thinking beakers and vials are the same thing.
Well, to be fair, a beaker is a pint.
No,
right?
I know. It's
Whereas
just
a vial's 2 ounces.
it's just Sid.
He's a
It was
beaker
just a
pint.
very Sid thing.
You just gnome-splained to me.
So yeah, grab a couple beakers and give it to him. But then I'll actually ask him, be like, I've never really juiced a Yeti or a living creature before. I know, like, let's say if we wanted to get sap from a tree, I'd just get a big old hollow spike and slam it in there and just collect something from the other side. But it doesn't exactly have a pumping heart, so it's not really there's any blood flow. How are you gonna get it now? Squeeze it?
I've got an idea. Okay, come with me. Put my hand on top of his head, softly, and walk with him to the Yeti. If you'll let me, that is.
He won't just. He'll kind of like be annoyed, but not say anything and go along with it.
It's like
What?
he's a bard. They do this. He doesn't
pull out my
realize he's
wrist.
racist right now.
I pull out my rapier.
How could you be racist? Sid's so not racist.
No, that's not. I meant.
I know.
I pull out my rapier and go, step 1, and drive it into the side of the Yeti.
Mm-hmm.
Step
no,
2.
you're
At
ruining
which,
the
yeah,
hill
at which Melody,
kill. Oh
like,
my
makes a
god.
voice, like,
Yeah, both like Vale and Melody are like just exclaim. Of course, Vale's are more intelligible.
yeah, Melody's just making noises, like sort of trying to brush him away.
Oh shit! Sorry. It's
Oh,
too
this
late
is
now.
not going to work either.
The damage
ahead.
has been done. Step 2. Jump at it. Jump at it, please.
I'm not sure what you're saying. Are you saying to jump on it?
Yes.
Oh man.
Of course, it's hung up right now, so you like jump tackle it.
I mean, yeah. Hold on. Give me a hand here, and like, I'll climb up on top of the thing. Oh man, my arthritis is really acting up in this cold weather.
I will place the beaker like below where I've pierced the Yeti.
And then
Step 3. Go.
Sid,
He wants you to squeeze.
I'm actually squeezing this thing?
Yes.
Oh, I've got better things to do with my time than sit around and bear hug a dead thing.
Oh, please.
No,
freaky enough I'm
Sid,
climbing it.
Sid, you have already caused it to become damaged. If you hadn't have let Gilwyn egg you on, then we wouldn't be in this situation. So you may as well squeeze it.
You're not going to silver tongue talk me into doing some ridiculous crap there, young man.
And this Melody just goes up to it and just probably like squeezing Sid at the same time, just squeezes the thing.
Like it's like a hug. It's like Sid's there, Sid's on the Yeti, and then Melody just kind of like sandwiches him in the middle. He's just trapped there, and then just like, yeah. And it works.
Sid's just like, no.
Smell like Melody and Yeti.
You were planning for Sid to be squeezing, and Sid's a significantly smaller and weaker creature than Melody. Melody squeezing. And with the height of Gilwyn, you get Yeti blood in your face.
He's got 11 strength. That's not weak.
50. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't say something fine.
But it's more of a size. You know, he's probably expecting you to just squeeze this body part and be like, "Oh, nice little like." But like Melody squeezes the thing is like, and like yeah, you get the full vial, and you can get as many full vials as you want, but you do get like.
Tap on the shoulder, be like, okay, Melody, let me down. You can bear hug this thing. I've got to go work on other more important things, like figuring out who built this crap.
And then Melody sort of turns to Gil and sort of like frowns at him and like shoos him away. Like, Melody skins now.
All right, okay.
And then she actually still has a spear. She sort of like looks at the spear end and then just looks at the dagger on Vale, presumably on Vale's belt or something, and is like, Melody can use dagger, and points at it.
I want it back, and I want it in the same condition I gave it.
That's not gonna happen.
And then she sets about skinning the thing.
What's the skill check?
For this, it would be survival, but it would be a long survival. Basically, your long rest. Yeah, you're gonna rest, but while you're doing this while you're doing stuff. Survival was wisdom, I want to say, right?
Yep. It is.
So you're gonna skill enhance wisdom.
Can we assist her to give her advantage?
Absolutely, but if you want to be going off and exploring who made these things, no.
I'll be pretty plain. I want to look at these things for maybe an hour
just a moment.
To try to figure out what it is, and then I had every intention of assisting with this because, like, I understand that it's going to be a very difficult task.
I
don't know about other people.
We'll do the roll then after you come back. What are you doing with these buildings?
Just want to try to figure out what creature may have made it, whether if it's finding like hair on the ground versus scales on the ground, if it's finding like I don't know, like because gnomes intrinsically hate kobolds, and kobolds intrinsically hate gnomes. It's just like a ongoing thing forever.
Gonna find it dropping, be like, it's not kobold.
It's not. Oh, okay, I was going to say it's not beneath him, but that was gross.
Absolutely, go ahead and give me an investigation roll.
Investigation, sure.
Or a nature roll. But investigation's fine. It's a great investigation with a 20. You go and you spend the hour doing this. Does anyone else want to do it with him? You know, Melody can't, but Gillen can wander around with the lantern if he wants.
Yeah,
I mentioned that he should check for signs of a dragon.
Yeah. All right, Gillen, go ahead and give me an investigation too.
Investigation.
So, while Sid's more interested in the buildings, Gilwen goes a little bit further down, and this cave goes for quite a while, then just kind of stops at a, sort of a flattish wall, and you're like, and go back around and turn around. Sid, you easily find out it's goblins just from the hair, from the way they built things, from the structures they've made. It seems that they left and in a hurry, but not feared hurry. Just like goblins probably aren't always smart enough to like bring a wagon full of stuff. So there's a lot of just discarded stuff. But you definitely notice just from sort of it would actually be like frost, not necessarily dust. Things have been moved somewhat recently from when they were abandoned, and then like left again. And you notice that just all over the place. Like, you look in, like, what's basically a little kitchen. It's like, oh, that spoon was on a side, but it was clearly there and then moved here. And then it's too... You see it so many times, you're like, okay, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah. So when I return to them to assist with her check for her to get the advantage or whatever, I'll say, okay, good news. It was goblins, so, you know, we just have to make sure we scare some off if they're here. Better news, they seem like they've already left. Bad news, there might be something else here, and I have no clue what that is, so I guess we can figure it out. It'll be a surprise.
Oh, and you clearly found no sign of a dragon.
I don't even make mention of
the fact that
there might be a dragon, yeah.
I just didn't explicitly mention it. Okay, great. Now you can help old Arvine with her survival roll, which means you've got advantage, Melody.
Vale's helping too, right?
It's still advantage.
Double advantage.
Could I try and take a rest
Woo!
while this is happening?
Yeah!
You are taking a rest while this is happening, more or less.
Good survival skill.
Absolutely perfect. You, with everybody's help, it's one of those things where Melody isn't polite, and she actually knows what she's doing, so you can try and help, but when you get in her way, you're probably shoved out of the way less than delicately. So
she will like order you at times, like hold up that arm, sort of thing. Not in as many words, just sort of just point you at the arm, sort of thing. Yeah.
But you, by the end of the night, by the time where the wear of this whole situation, the whole day, really starts to hit you, because you had a bit of a second wind, Melody, especially coming back from reality, and same with Sid, back from being unconscious after the avalanche. You have your Yeti fur.
I forgot. I have this ability.
I presume you could also get a couple of Yeti meat.
You could get some Yeti meat if you were interested in it. I will say basically whatever parts of the Yeti you want, you can get. You got a 22 on a Yeti. They are fairly basic creatures. Specific magical things that is why the Yetis have ice powers. Nah, you're not getting that. But like, if Sid wants that gallbladder, he can have that gallbladder. If you want some hunks of meat, you can have some hunks of meat. But you do get the Yeti fur almost perfect. That hole that that Gil made is going to bug both Sid and Melody forever.
Excuse me, nay.
That hole, it's like you're looking over after it's done. It's like, all right, good job, Melody.
Frowning at it, yeah.
It's just fixed.
Is Vale sitting? Is Vale sitting somewhere, or is he just?
I imagine Vale is meditating, laying down, right?
He's no, he's been helping with this. So he's he's got his sleeves rolled up, hands on his hips, and he's like, "Good job."
Once it's done, Melody just goes up to him and just like basically holds out the thing to dump in his arms. Holds out the.
Now, bear in mind, this is basically like the size of a king-size duvet.
Yeah.
Oh, she still does that.
No, I know, she totally can.
It's actually like 200 pounds.
Yeah, it's just like
100 kilos.
It's a big thing. It's heavy because, you know, it's a fucking Yeti. It's a Yeti fur. Cool thing that you definitely notice now that you've got it here in your light of your campfire. It's not white. It's sort of white and grey mottled, exactly like the texture of a mountain from afar, right? It's not the pure white camouflage that you probably assumed Yetis had, or at least maybe some Yetis do, but this one didn't. It's kind of a cobblestone-y sort of texture of white and stuff.
So I think we'll take some slabs of meat, get those start those cooking, and then Vale would start taking the Yeti down, like getting his rope back, and he would turn to Soundly and be like, "Soundly, with the rope, and if we go find some branches, do you think we could make a sled for the fur until we're lower down the mountain? Galleon is tied some way down, and we could put it on his back once we get there. But until then, a sled would make the going easier."
Sure, a sled would, but I'm actually more. While I would much rather the comfort of an inn, even if it is only a straw bed, I'm kind of wondering, with the sheer size of the fur, instead of bringing it down, we have so much open space up here. Wouldn't we want to start tanning it up here, where we have so much exposed space? Sure, we need a few chemicals that I just don't have on hand, because, I mean, who carries tanning treatments with them everywhere they go? But we could possibly travel ourselves down, grab the materials, and tan the fur up here. I imagine you wanted to do something with the fur, right? I happen to be a trained tanner.
I'm going to straight up say that is possible, but, like, any kind of work on this to make it into stuff will require at least one day of complete downtime. More likely you want to supply... If you want to be like, okay, we've got the fur to an article of clothing, full week, at least. Full week with a good roll. If it was a wolf pelt, it would be much easier, but, you know. It's one of those things where you could get it done in a day, or probably 2 days would be the best thing. But that would be like 20s.
I was going to say, I think tanning leather takes a long-ass time.
But it's fantasy world of magical infused in stuff and shit.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, I have magic.
Exactly. But the main thing is that would be a whole bunch of downtime. But it is a good idea to just do it up here. You're not that far from the mountain. You're a couple of hours up the mountain, like 6, 8.
Because the first thing that we want to do before we go is to is to salt it and soak it and all that stuff, which we would do here. And then if you wanted to bring it down the mountain and do stuff down there, we could totally do so. But anyways, Salny totally suggests doing that and seeing if you're interested in tan it, because I'm offering to tan it. So
very well. That doesn't seem like a bad idea. Perhaps tomorrow morning we can set off down to town, bring the supplies back up on Galleon. Since we're going slower, we could track his way up here a bit more carefully. And I'm loath to leave him out there for too long. In fact, I probably will go and get him soon.
Galleon?
Yes, my horse.
Oh, I forgot that the horse's name was Galleon. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a lot of work to get this done. And I'm actually, as I'm saying that, I'm kind of like walking around him and like checking his own armor, which I imagine he wears just plain leather, right?
It's plain leather. It's
studded leather.
Oh, it is studded leather, but it's not like armor. It's like gambesons and things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm like looking at his armor and stuff like that, more or less kind of like taking mental notes of his sizes, because fucking 19 intelligence. Genius level stuff.
You easily do that.
Taking mental notes of his size. I'm like, honestly, it sounds like if I wrote up a list for you, you and Gil could probably go down there and have a pint or two on the way, and Melody would probably be the best one to assist me with this. Besides, maybe it's a little much needed alone time with the old girl.
Melody stayed with Sid. Sid, Melody's friend.
Okay. That we are.
I like the idea that like. You'd be doing this for more or less 8 hours, right? Gilwyn's been asleep, and then you've just started talking again, because you weren't talking that much while you're actually skinning, and you all just started talking again, and he just like kind of has woken up, but not like made it clear that he wakes up, and then just like laughs at that, and then like rolls back over.
Yes, that sounds like quite a good plan. I think we will be able to give me a list. We will bring up the supplies. And perhaps I could have a little look further into the cave and see whether there's anything left. It's always worth a look, I suppose.
Yeah, why not loot?
What we doing, Bill?
We're going to travel down to the city and bring up some supplies to work on the cloak, work on the fur.
We're staying up here?
For a few days, perhaps a week or two.
Okay.
We're making Yeti fur armor for my my employer here.
Oh, really? Oh, you. And he ruffles your hair. Very happy.
Though I don't know if I'm going to stay in his employ if he continues doing stuff like that.
No,
it's very hard to ruffle Sid's hair because he's mostly bald.
Yeah, it's missing.
So you actually just kind of like you do it like naturally, and then you just like.
Top. He goes to the top and goes, and then moves to the back and does that.
It's like when you're scratching a cat. You're like,
weird.
This just got really uncomfortable.
Yes, you're right. Let's go. let's let's finish a rest, and then we will head out on the morning.
Okay.
Yes.
Sid, Melody.
Melody?
I'm really sorry.
Melody just tilts her head and sort of gives you a blank look.
Gilwyn hears, and no one else. Gilwyn better be.
Do I hear that?
Gilwyn's the only person that hears it.
Jesus.
Oh boy.
And Melody does sort of look at
because Melody would watch. Melody saw Sid, saw Raj like fly over and whisper to him, but didn't.
She was sort of
just
looking blankly at Gil, and then sort of looks and was like, and frowns slightly, and then just sort of looks back at Gil.
Yeah.
No, I'm really sorry.
Sorry, what for?
I thought you were gonna say what is.
You were engulfed in snow. That was kind of my fault.
Melody wants to come with Gil, follows up mountain, snow falls. This happens in the wild, in forests, in mountains. This happens. Gil not at fault.
Melody, you're a dang cute lass.
She just tilts her head again in confusion. Just.
I tend to Sid and put my hand on his back and I go, "We okay, mate?"
I don't know why we would. He was like completely distracted, like looking at the tanning stuff and whatnot, and he was just like kind of plotting it out and like looking up for different areas for him to do things. And then finally, he's like, "Huh? What? Why wouldn't we be?"
No, fair enough. No reason.
Listen, we all make mistakes. I have made more than a few, and honestly, I thought you handled it pretty well. I mean, you speak Drow. It's impressive.
For an hour.
Vale looks at you until you say for an hour. He's like, "You speak Drow." You didn't tell me that.
Don't worry, Vale. I'm actually Gil. I'm not an assassin.
Well,
yeah.
This isn't the Friday game.
Yet.
Yeah.
Well, who wants some Yeti meat? Hmm?
Melody does.
It's important that you don't touch the brain.
Why would I touch? It's a huge Yeti. Of course, I've gone for the prime cuts first.
Okay.
I mean, it probably would be breakfast actually if you worked out the whole time of the day. So yeah, it's breakfast.
But
Salny won't eat it.
Why don't you touch the brain?
Yeah.
Oh, it's important for tanning. I need the juices of the brain to tan. It's really important. But I personally, I find it a little strange to eat from a bipedal mammal. It just feels too, I can't do it. It's like eating monkey. I can't eat monkey.
Bet you'd eat a kobold though, wouldn't you?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's not like it's happened, but it was like we were drunk. We were on, it was after a field of battle. It's, you just, you know.
Staring straight ahead, like, I just go, I ate goblin once.
Oh.
That was weird.
Oh.
It was.
And like Sally's literally just lost his appetite. Won't even have dinner tonight.
Melody just turns to Salny and is like, "Why not eat creatures? Need to survive."
Sure, still like reeling back from Gil's admission. He's like, I'll eat rabbit.
Like, oh, good.
I'll eat rabbit. I'm fine with eating rabbit or cow. Cow's good. Birds are delicious, but people, and I don't know. Yeti can think pretty. I mean, Yeti can plan.
Vale, give me a survival roll for cooking the Yeti.
Hells yeah.
It's important.
This is why
you cook it reasonably enough.
Character's gonna have the gourmet trait.
Can I inspire that roll, please?
Yes, you can.
By going, oh yeah, flip it. Oh yeah.
Oh, you're the barbecue friend. Okay,
Do you
great.
smell that fizzle?
What is your inspiration at the moment? Is it D6?
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
15 is actually great. You were like going to be like you cooked the meat fine.
I was
Not
gonna
like you
burn
cooked...
one side until he came over and was like, "Yeah, flip it." And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like the Yeti is a very weird meat to cook because something you would have noticed is it just stays cold. It's just been cold this whole time. You were quite warm by the fire. It's just been cold. So it's like one of those things. It's like basically the equivalent of like cooking a frozen thing. You gotta like it's a whole thing. But you end up actually
matter of factly he said that. He's like, you know, Yeti, it's a difficult thing to like always saying it like he has like lots of experience cooking Yeti at family outings. Like that just came off so easily.
I'm the DM, you know.
No,
Things like this have come up in my world before. Okay. There has been a situation where someone has bought and eaten succubus meat, okay? It can happen.
Yeah,
was that
succulent?
succulent?
That was early to left days. Yeah.
Is that Jürgen Hagenführer?
That was Jürgen Hagenführer. Brilliant
Yeah.
NPC who has not returned despite my attempts.
Did she actually have a juicy ass?
But he didn't stay around after he ate to get an opinion.
Wow, Dean.
You know, I think it's a reasonable question. Anyway, but yeah, you actually cook it fine, and you maybe use some of the other like stuff in your ration packs, like add a little bit of flavor. You end up cooking like a fairly
put
nice
a bit of dried
beer.
bacon in.
A little bit of
to
dried
pan.
bacon. Oh yeah, it's a bit good old like barbecue
Little bit
Yeti
of wild
meat.
mushrooms from in the cave.
See, this isn't
They
fair.
absolutely
I've
are.
already stated Salmi is not going to eat tonight because you killed his appetite.
And it started to smell good.
He's still not going to eat, but the smell is killing him. It smells so good.
It's like he's decided.
He's
He's
like,
like,
one of those, I'm not going to eat because I said so, but oh my god, it smells amazing.
Yeah, and I assumed that the other three of you eat, and it's good, actually. Considering
Yeah.
most of the time... I mean, the last few nights you've had, like, stew from a tavern, which is fine.
Yeah, it's passable grub, isn't it?
But
it's a
it's
bit
passable
nicer
grub,
to
but it's
cook it
something
yourself.
nice that, like, you watch this be cooked, and you killed it. And then you're cooking it. And it's
Yeah,
very
I need a
satisfying.
lot of its protein to mend all the damage it did to me. Let's be honest.
Yep, that's how it works. So the way I'm going to have it being
we'll go straight
is
to the Rocky Mountain oysters.
the other three of you need basically 4 hours of more rest. So you ended up having essentially a 12-hour rest, but that's because you were doing a whole bunch of things. Don't worry about it. So it's late morning by the time you're up, and Sid is preparing the shopping list for, what is it, Vale and Gil, which combined to make Vil in my brain, to go to the
Or
city.
Gale. We're actually Gale.
Gale. That's the one I was meant to be, but I never remember. Scott, you're trying to make the Yeti into studded leather armor, yes?
To whatever it is that I can make that he can use. What technical class are you? Because I don't know.
He's a rogue.
I'm a rogue.
Are you actually a rogue?
He is the swashbuckler rogue, which is sort of like rogue fighter.
I didn't know that I always assumed, but I didn't know that for a fact.
So I can use light and medium, can I, as a rogue? Or
you
just
can't
light
use
up?
medium now, because I would love to give you hide armor, but it wouldn't work because your dexterity is too high. So it'll have to be studded leather. But Ollie,
there would be benefits.
I want it to be as beneficial as possible. I don't know if maybe the hide itself is intrinsically unique enough to have a higher AC. I just want to make it the best as possible.
It's not
that
higher.
You're gonna allow.
It's not higher AC. Go ahead and give me a nature roll, Sid, for what you could do with this.
Nature or leatherworking.
Leatherworking would also be fine.
Okay.
Just for flavour, not to affect my stats in any way, could I have a hood? Do you know, like one of those...
You would have a hood
So much
for
extra
your...
fur.
Because you've got a new
So much extra
outfit
fur.
now. Oh, like a
Think about how big
Yeti
this
fair
is.
hood. Yeah, absolutely.
Alpaca hood.
Yetis are just basically cold-aligned creatures. This fur, if you created fur armor, even in leather, would give him probably advantage against the constitution saves you get in cold weather. Is what I'm thinking right now. It doesn't give you armor bonuses or anything, but it's like, you can still suffer from the cold, but you're going to have a way harder time doing it.
Yeah,
Is
so
he 12 plus or 13 plus?
For what?
Because studded leather's 13 plus.
Studded leather is
dex.
12
Studded
plus
leather's
dex,
12.
I just would prefer, like, can I have the effects of studded leather without putting actual studs into it? I mean, I have.
Yeah, no, but considering
Yeah.
you're doing this and you're taking your time, it would count as studded leather, but it's just because the Yeti is so tough. You could, basically, Scott, You can tell me however you and Neil want this armor to look like, and I'll probably end up drawing it, not painting it in full detail, but at least doodling it at some point, right? Because that's what I do, baby. But for that, the shopping list is. Do you have level working tools on you?
It's part of like I have all the toolkits that I needed, but the thing is I'm not
Your
going
inventory
to have
broke.
like the sulfuric acid.
You need to buy stuff. You need to buy stuff. So considering this is such a hard thing to work with, and you kind of need to get stuff to deal with the coal line and stuff, it'll be 90 gold altogether of stuff you need to make this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So do you give it to them or?
I mean, I don't have full 90 gold, but at the same time, I'm not paying for this because this is for him. Like, he's the employer. He should.
You can straight up give him the list.
Gold, he should be paying me to do it too.
Yeah, you can give him the list and be like, it's going to be this much. And that's basically where we're going to leave off.
150 gold.
That's reasonable, I think, actually.
It is. But I only have 30 gold.
Nah, we'll talk about this. But the immediate thing that happens in Vale's brain as he's hidden with this number and he's like, my pockets feel a little light. When we get back from a short little break, like 4 minutes or so, hopefully. We'll be back soon. Yeah, we will. You wait.
Need to break. I'm
So
hyped.
it's funny because